How many of you have been in the meeting or pulled into a meeting where someone has asked you, why is our personalization program still not delivering? Hold on to that meeting in your head. That's the room we are going to talk about in coming minutes. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I am Vivek Shivshankar, Executive Vice President for Technology at Installers. With me today, I have Abhishek Banerjee, our Senior Vice President for Decisioning. Abhishek, quick intro from your side.
Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar. So I'm Abhishek. I've worked for the last few decades on real-time decisioning programs and customer engagement programs, quite a few of them using Pega Customer Decision Hub. I have worked across banks, telcos, insurance companies, so forth. Today's topic is very close to my heart. Because most of the banks that I've engaged with, I've seen the same gap. Uh, they all have the platform, they have the data, they have smart people on their team, but the customers still get generic communications. Why that happens and how we can fix that gap is what we are going to talk about today. I see a diverse group of people has joined us. It's great to see that. I see folks from marketing technology, engineering leadership, product management, even enterprise AI analytic folks have joined us. So I'm very excited, Vivek, to see this diverse group of people across multiple roles and multiple industries. Let's have a great conversation today.
Thanks, Abhishek, for that quick intro. Yes, definitely we have a diverse group within the audience. Some of the members have already started Pega CDH journey, and the goal for them, the uh, they have started their journey already, and the question now is about results, adaptive analysis, models, new channels, and day-to-day operations. The other group of audience are yet to start their Pega CDH journey, and their goal is to go live with a faster engagement with their customers. Before we start the session, one most important line we have to start is we believe the next decade of banking is not won by buying more technology, rather it is won by operationalizing it faster. That's what this session is all about. You might have already heard or read some of the reports. McKinsey says 71% of customers expect personalized interactions. White Clay has found 50% of customers are ready to switch their primary bank for better engagement for them. BCG has estimated that the retail banks can unlock approximately $370 billion as extra profits by 2030 by providing personalization engagement to their customers. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. We will get back to you on those queries. Numbers like these particularly are discussed in most of the board meetings. But what is not discussed in the board meetings is how do we organize and deliver on them. That is the place we are going to start. Abhishek, every bank has platforms, CRM, campaign tools, CDP, but still the experience is generic with the customers. What is broken here?
So, the most of the engagements that I've worked on, I've seen three patterns playing out every time, basically. First among them, the extreme long development cycles. So, these engagement programs run for 12 to 18 months. And even then, around two-thirds of them miss the original timelines, sometimes by even half a year. In one of my previous engagements, we had a number of available channels, but we couldn't activate them even after a few years in the program. So long development cycles definitely is a deal breaker. Continuing on those lines, I've observed the delayed ROIs also play a damper, right? So the board approves a business use case expecting value in year one. What we see is value landing somewhere in year three. And by that time, the patience is gone. Backlog takes long time to build, so no ready user stories. So we keep on missing development cycles, Vivek.
Hold on, Abhishek. That ROA point which you actually mentioned is the place where CFOs loses it. Most of the boards might have already given the target to engage the customers in a more personalized manner or deliver that engagement with the customers, or the next quarter the budget may not be available anymore. That's the meeting we started with. Abhishek, please proceed to the third one.
Adding on to it, we have the issue of low visibility of milestones, right? So these program runs from quarter to quarter with no monthly checkdowns. So sponsors can't tell what is working and what is not. And by the time we find out, it's too late to pivot. So net effect, marketing keeps running batch campaigns because that's what the requirements and everything that they have, resulting in irrelevant communication happening. So gap is not technology anymore. Banks have capable platforms. Gap is this packaged way of working that can turn these requirements into live actions, thereby giving the ROIs quickly.
Got it, Abhishek. So, three patterns predominantly, and all of them is about how the work is organized and delivered, not the platform itself. Abhishek, we have heard about four pillars: acquire, engage, nurture, and retain. Why these four pillars?
So these four pillars are the key moments in the customer life cycle for a banking user, right? These are the moments where the PNL actually leaks. So to fix them, we have taken these four pillars in our MLP. So you get acquisition. We know customer acquisition costs are rising, conversion rates are falling. Another major aspect that I've observed is the issue of activated customers going dormant, right? They have the cards, they don't use it. They have an online app, but they never download and opened it. So this engagement pillar fixes this activation issue. Then what? I have a customer who is engaged, then he has a product. What then, right? So that's where our nurture pillar comes into picture, right? We have seen customers with a single product, a long duration of their association, resulting in flat lifetime values because they get irrelevant cross sell or upsell offers. That's where this nurture pillar comes into picture. And to top it out, the retention pillar. We know losing a customer is a loss for the organization. So we fix this issue using Pega's adaptive models, where we do proactive and reactive retention. So that's this retain pillar. So you have four pillars, Vivek. Each one can be measured separately, have their own ROIs, have their own measurement hooks, but all based on the same financial services data structure. That's the key thing here.
Clear, Abhishek. So, four moments within the customer journey where PNL leaks happen, and each one of them is measured separately within other MLP. Abhishek, within this MLP on day one, what actually lives inside it?
So that's a great question, Vivek. So this is not only a presentation, right? This MLP actually has functioning customer journeys, and not one or two, but 11 of them. These journeys have the individual stages, some of them more detailed in nature, some of them having the awareness, consideration, and decisioning stages that the standard marketing customer journey stages that we have. We have also picked up the more relevant customer journeys based on our experience. So you have the digital activation, you have the wealth management, cross sell, loyalty, retention, all core customer journeys that we feel will play a big part in giving the right ROI. These journeys have their own entry exit criteria, their eligibility rules, actions, treatments, all built in. We also tell which action should be delivered using which channel. So that's also part of our MLP. So all in all, it's a complete end-to-end solution. To top it up, each of these journeys have their own personas so that we can use Pega's customer profile viewer to do persona testing on these. We have these journeys, actions, treatments, all built on Pega's financial services framework. So nothing is blocked. It's all extendable, and we never move out from the Pega's core tenant of build for change. So that's an MLP for you.
Okay, so on day one, IP is in the box already and a starting architecture and not a frozen one. Abhishek, 10 weeks, that's a slide. What actually real about it?
So we don't start from a blank canvas, right? So we have the financial services framework on which this MLP is built. So you have the data structures. We also have the data pipelines built in. So you have the customer data, accounts data, the data jobs are ready, the files, our structure is ready. As long as the cloud solutions drop the files in there, the data jobs will be picked up and the system starts running. We also have a pre-built backlog of user stories, and that's the gap that we were talking about before, right? The package unit of work that's there also as part of this MLP.
Abhishek, let me stop you there, but it is still on presentation. Do you have anything which we can show to our audience?
Absolutely. Let me bring my application up. I hope everybody can see my application.
It may take few seconds to load, Abhishek.
Mhm.
Yes, it is loading now. Yes, we can see now.
So friends, this is our MLP. As we said, it is not a PowerPoint presentation, it's an actual working application. So what you see here are the four pillars: acquisition, nurture, retain, and engage. Right? You also see the 11 customer journeys here, right? What we spoke about. You see the wealth management advisory customer journey with its detailed stages of awareness, consideration, planning, advisory, and advocacy. Each of these stages have their own entry exit criteria, which are the business rules we are talking about, right? So it's not just blank canvas, you have the business rules built in there. We also have these actions underlying these stages, right? When you see them, it's all configured. So we have the engagement policies. It's all in there. It's not a PPT, right? So some of the customer journeys are detailed in nature, some of them are not that detailed. But again, these are all extendable, which can be modified, enhanced as and when the user needs, the organization needs. So this is the 10 plus customer journeys we were talking about. Then you have the taxonomy in there and the acquisition with their own lending, cross sell groups. We have the nurture, the digital adoption, financial health, the retention, churn prevention, and the engagement, all built in there. We also have the data jobs that I was talking about, right? So this is the customer and account streams that we have created. With this MLP, once you have imported, the cloud solutions have to just submit or dump these files in this streaming format, and our data jobs will pick them up, load it into our customer decision hub solution, and back, we are good to go. That's not all is here, right? We have also facilitated the testing of this MLP in-house. So what you see here are all testing personas. So what you can do now, you can just go to Prega's customer profile viewer, get these personas in, and test the decisioning solution. So we have seen this problem, right? Data is not available, channels not ready. So how do we test? So what you do, take the personas that you have created, load them, and just run the next best action. So all in all, this is not, again, to reiterate, just not a PPT, it's a full-blown MLP solution that you get as part of this package.
Right, Abhishek. So by week 10, we are in production, not in UAT or not into the discussion mode. Abhishek, if there is a customer who has a preferred channel, what does that mean for this particular engine?
So our MLP comes with, of course, as I said, the treatments are already configured or correspondent with the actions, right? So we, as part of our research and our engagements that we have done with other organizations, basically know which actions should be delivered using which channel. And that's what you get as part of this MLP. So you will see some of the actions having a push treatment. You will see some of the actions having a mobile treatment. How do we know that? We know that by working on the number of engagements that we have spent time on, and that's the IP that we have brought up in this MLP. And again, this solution is easily extendable. You can add more channels to it. We have, you can integrate Facebook Messenger into it, right? We also have a platform where we have integrations built into it, like WhatsApp or anything, right? So it's not, again, it's an easily extendable solution. Remember, all these channels, we have also configured them with their eligibility conditions, with the contact policies, and again, so it's not a black canvas. It's not that just we have just added a channel in there. The rules associated with those channels are also there as part of this MLP.
Okay, so same brain working for sending the customer engagements on different windows. Abhishek, as we started with the audience, we have some of the audience group who are already live in with Pega CDH, and the meetings they are attending are looking different. Models are live, running, not delivering. Where do we start?
That's a common question I get from a lot of my customers, right? Who I've worked for. So a model is live, it's running, doesn't mean it's learning. You may ask me that question, why? So the issue there is the low responder volumes per se. So in plain terms, it means that we have so many treatments for the customer that we don't get sufficient responses for each one of them. And you know, these models need a minimum number of responses for them to learn. So if your treatment responses are too thin, the model never learns, it just runs. So that's one of the issues that we see.
Abhishek, let's take a pause here. Most of us would like to learn from a business perspective. What does low responder volume actually mean from a business perspective?
So basically, that means is very few customers getting those treatment action combination. As a result, very few responses coming in. As a result, the machine learning models don't have sufficient data to learn and recommend what is the next best treatment. So to fix this, what we say is you need to have your action treatment catalog not too huge, right? They should be relevant in nature, right? For this to work correctly. And how do we do that? So it's all comes as part of our assessment of the entire adaptive model framework that we do, right? That will tell you that some of these treatments are in that low responder category. So how do you fix that? We also see another problem with this. There is always a competition between the business rules being too strict versus the adaptive models, right? So the model says A, the rules say B, and we keep on blaming the model. Then it never comes to play a part in the decisioning because the business rules are too strict. So we do an exhaustive study of those as well. And to top it all, a very common problem that I have observed in these adaptive models is the staleness of the models. Predictors not having correct data, not getting correct data, missing weighted data, right? So the performance drifts quietly and nobody notices. So what do we do to fix that? So this is an exhaustive assessment of the adaptive model infrastructure of a customer, of an organization that we do. And that is one of our offerings as part of the folks who are already matured in the CDH journey.
Clear, Abhishek. So three symptoms and two engagement models for providing structured help and not one-time engagement also. So that's about the model side, Abhishek. Usually customers move between the channels. How fast can a bank follow the customer into the new channel?
So I'll go back to my earlier point that I made, right? We have seen activation of channels as one of the key issues in a large number of organizations, right? So this actually a structured way to do that, right? We need to follow some key steps. Uh, what is the integration pattern? What are the templates? What are the channel specific eligibility rules? What is the impact of a particular channel on the other channels, right? We miss that. So we communicate with the customer on SMS. What happens? We also communicate with the email on the same time. Sometimes it's a no-show. Sometimes it's a, gets a negative connotation, right? So how these channels interact with each other is a key fact. And one of the most important aspects of a channel integration is to engage and get the responses of the customer. Channel integration is not complete till we complete the loop. Again, if we don't get the loop back, the models don't learn, it's not intelligent, and we are not making the best use of Pega's next best engine. So these are the 5 key points that we see. And don't worry, all this comes as part of our channel assessment that we do for our existing customers. So what adaptive model, framework assessment, channel assessment, and finally, a very key important aspect that we look into is the customer journey assessment. As we have matured in our Pega Customer Decision Hub journey, we have observed that customer journeys is a very key aspect of a customer engagement program. We have seen disconnected journeys. We have seen customers getting dropped from the journeys, right? So to fix this, we do an exhaustive journey assessment of a Pega Customer Decision Hub project. We find out the gaps. We see if there are conflicting stages, conflicting actions. Uh, how do we mature the customer journey lifecycle? So that's our third offering for customers, prospects, organizations who have already using CDH for some time.
Okay, so for a new channel, it is just another window for the same brain, which can be fast tracked. And we also assess and support in the assessment of customer journey and support them in the enhancement also. Good to know that, Abhishek. So one last big question every CFO actually asks: is when does this MLP turn into a legacy system?
It never. That's my answer, Vivek, because we have never moved out of our core tenet that whatever we do in Pega is built for change, and our framework reflects it. It's built on Pega Financial Services Framework. The journeys are modifiable, the stages can be edited. Nothing is hard coded per se, right? I showed you the data entry points, the files can be dropped, whichever cloud solution you want to do, AWS, Glue Jobs, whatever, right? So that's how plug and play it works. So with all this in place, after 10 weeks, what you get is a set of actions that are already scoped. Some banks can directly use whatever we have in NLP because, as I said, it's based on our experience working with a large number of organizations. Those who want to change it can do that. We can have a solution workshop, right? And part of that, we do a gap analysis. What changes you want to make to the MLP? And to do those changes, Vivek, is also not a huge amount of lift because, as I said, everything is built for change.
Right, Abhishek. So nothing is locked. The bank can extend with us or without us. Abhishek, if you have to make a CFO say yes, what's the number?
So, before that, I would emphasize the fact that we have observed that personalization wins, right? It increases revenue, it increases the retention rate. So there is no way out of personalization. There is sufficient research to emphasize the fact that personalization works. Talk about numbers, right, Vivek? So three numbers. It's a number three that I would always say to all my customers, right? The time to first value as part of our MLP is in weeks, not quarters. Weeks, Vivek. It's 10 to 12 weeks, right? It's a big change that we are introducing as part of this MLP. Second, what is the cost to launch a new feature? Minimal because of the way we have designed our product. And the third, how do you measure each pillar? How do you measure your acquisition is working? How do you measure your nurture is working against the company's baseline? The way we do it is our solution comes with its own measurement hooks. So you can know what is working and what is not. You're never blindsided as part of this MLP. That's our key feature.
Got it, Abhishek. So the economics are documented and the cost of waiting is going up. Abhishek, many organizations are aware about Pega Blueprint and the AI-driven design Pega supports. How should executives think about and understand the difference between Pega Blueprint and Installer's MLP offering?
That's a great question, Vivek. Now, Blueprint is an excellent GenAI tool. It generates personas, journeys, treatments. It's a great tool, right? So what we offer as part of the MLP is a pre-built set of journeys, actions, adaptive models, very banking specific, live actions, of course. So, in my view, Blueprint designs what needs to be built. The MLP ships it, right? It ships that. So I was talking about the solutions alignment workshop, right, Vivek? So in that workshop, to determine the gap analysis, Blueprint is a very key element, right? So in short, in my view, Blueprint is a great addendum to this MLP. They complement each other. They are not competing in nature. So they are complementary, not competing. That's my two lines.
Okay, Abhishek. So in the recent Pega World event, Pega has introduced Customer Engagement Studio. which will be the new agentic workspace for CDH. Where does the installer MLP accelerator fit into that vision?
Very true. So the customer engagement studio is a new offering that has come out, right? Now, you see, our MLP creates the backbone of the actions, treatments, strategies, adaptive models. It's the back, right? Customer engagement studio adds more flavor to it, right? As I said, the strategy agent, right? You have 11 pre-built MLP journeys to brief against, not a blank canvas. So again, it is adding value on top of our MLP. The creative agent, right? So we have creative templates. Now with using the customer engagement studio, you will be able to enhance and attribute and add more on top of it. Same with models, same with performance. Even best, the guardrails, right? It's one of our key features of our NLP. Our NLP comes with its own guardrails. We have the business rules keyed in there, right? So, as with Customer Engagement Studio, with the compliance agent, you just add more to it. So, our MLP is the core brain, and the Engagement Studio enhances that brain to add more flavors to so that you can get more out of your Pega Customer Decision Hub investment. So that's the variation that is there between the two things.
Okay, Abhishek. So before we go into the closure, if you have to leave audience with one thing to remember, what it would be?
It's one thing for the two uh, groups of customers that we get. Some who are new in their customer journey, some who are already there with the Customer Edition Hub. So if you are new and you want to get ROI in 10 weeks, MLP is the way to go. You get a pre-booked set of customer journeys with their actions, treatments, eligibility, suitability, applicability rules, everything. So that's the deal clincher in case of a customer who doesn't have Pega customization hub. For the folks who are already in their customization journey, the three key offerings, again, I will reiterate your adaptive framework analysis, your customer journey analysis, and your channel treatment analysis. So these are the three things, and that plays a huge part in enhancing the investments that have already gone in a Pega Distribution Hub project.
Abhishek, let's assume if someone is walking into a budget meeting next week. So for them, what would be that one line?
So ROI in 10 to 12 weeks. You get a live system that gives you return on investment, which is measurable within a few weeks, not in quarters, not in years. So that's the deal clincher here.
Perfect. Thank you, Abhishek. As McKinsey calls personalization as a force multiplier, they are right. Every quarter you delay, the gap widens. Every quarter you compound, the gap closes. And remember that meeting we started with, where someone asked, why is your personalization program still not delivering? If you have to walk into the same meeting in coming days, you have the answer. That's the gap we are closing. Thank you all for the time, for joining us. If any of this maps to your conversations you are currently having internally, we would like to engage with you for a 45-minute working session. We also have the MLP available in Pega Marketplace. Please take a look into that and reach out to us for any queries. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.